Hello, it's day 16. Days 14 and 15 were spent in Ashland. We took 2 days off, which noted for next time. 1-0 is really nice. 2 zeros is kind of too much. It was a little bit tough to get going again today. I think both of us woke up feeling like ready to maybe not hike anymore. But yeah, today was a difficult day. The terrain was really easy. We hiked about 18 miles, mostly flat, like climbed up maybe 1,500 feet. I don't know what like the total elevation gain for the day was. But there was like one spring 9 miles in, and then both of the other water sources we have been like these kind of like not super nice little ponds of stagnant water. So we're looking forward to tomorrow, another 4 miles, about 4 miles into our hike for the day. We should have a slightly better water source to filter from. We actually ended up dumping out some of the water that I picked up at the second place that we stopped because it was just like a little bit sketchy. But we are getting ready to stealth camp here. There's no established campsites near the spring-fed pond that we're getting water from. We hiked about 18 and a half miles today, and I think we're both just done. It's about 6, and it's night time, so we're eating dinner.
It's 7.
It's 7?
7.
Oh, god damn it. 7. So we're gonna eat dinner next to this pond, which despite not being like the most amazing water, has some pretty fucking incredible dragonflies everywhere. So I'm pretty stoked to watch those little buggers fly around while I eat dinner. And then we're gonna hike up maybe a quarter of a mile up trail and see if we can find a spot to pitch our tent before we head to sleep for the evening. Yeah, I think it's only going to be about 3 days before we're at Fish Lake. It looks like the water on this section of trail is a little bit more precarious. There's lots of reservoirs and stuff like that are way off trail, but on the trail there's not a ton. So it looks like we're probably going to be doing like 3 18-mile days, and we'll get into Fish Lake and then kind of assess from there. But at that rate, we'll end up in Manzama Village, which is Crater Lake, in like 6 days, which is really soon. Yeah. So we're both, I think, feeling hopeful that tomorrow will feel like a slightly better day. But at the moment, there's like 6 dragonflies perched up on these little like reeds in front of me. So I'm going to enjoy that while I eat my Northwest Garden couscous. Mark, anything to add from day 16?
No.
Hello from day 17, the end of day 17. I did not do my normal check-in during the day today. Same kind of general consensus as yesterday. It really wasn't that difficult from a terrain perspective. There was maybe a 1,300-foot climb at the end, but otherwise it was pretty chill. But Mark and I were both feeling really tired. So
Mostly me.
Mark was on the struggle bus this morning. Like, he almost threw up because he felt nauseous. I think he might have been a little bit dehydrated from not drinking water out of the out of the pond scummy water sources that we had. But luckily today we actually had a couple places that from the reservoirs that we were able to fill up with like just normal potable water from a spigot. So I think we both felt a little bit more comfortable with that. At least one of the water sources yesterday had some like algae growing on top of it, which, we treat our water, but there can be blue-green algae, which isn't like, that's like neurotoxin stuff. So I think we were both a little bit just like sketched out about it, which is...
It also just didn't taste good. Tastes like dirt.
Yeah. Each one tastes
like pond.
Slightly less like dirt than the last.
Have you ever wondered to yourself, I wonder what that pond tastes like? Or you can imagine exactly what that pond tastes like. It tastes like pond. Should be a flavor of jelly bean.
Yeah, pond flavor.
yeah, so we did another 18 and a half mile day today. We're gonna make it into Fish Lake tomorrow. Should be about an 18 or 20 mile day. We're camped next to a spring that has some very delicious water today. And then tomorrow midday, I think there's just one place there's like a cabin, like an old cabin in the middle of nowhere that has like well water that you can pump up because this is sort of a dry stretch. It's funny because when we were in Northern California, I was like, oh, I'm so looking forward to when we get to Oregon and there's just like streams everywhere. And then everybody was like, what the fuck are you talking about, Carly? There's like notoriously dry stretches all through Oregon. So it was probably just a little bit of a grass is always greener mentality.
They call her Whisper.
They
No, Carly. What are you talking about, Whisper?
Yeah, that's true. My name is Whisper. But anyway, so tomorrow we'll get to Fish Lake and then we'll camp there and we'll do a slightly shorter day the next day.
Hey y'all, checking in on day 18. Not out of breath today. We're at this cool little cabin called Brown's Cabin. I think it's on Brown's Mountain. We are about 8 or 9 miles into a 20-mile day, headed down to Fish Lake today, which is like a little fishing resort. We sent a resupply there, so we'll either camp off site there or whatever, get a hot meal. Yeah, there's supposed to be some really pretty views later today. I think we're going to start crossing over officially entering the Southern Cascades. The last couple days we kind of were traveling east, like northeast of Ashland, so continuing to snake around rather than actually headed north. So I think we're about to actually start pushing north here in this segment. And we're going to hit a cool volcano apparently today, so get some pictures of all of that good stuff. I think Mark and I are both feeling much restored today. We were feeling kind of broken off, just like not feeling super great the last 2 days. Mark in particular, but I was feeling definitely pretty tired too. Mark did develop a blister, which he's very bitter about because he, as far on his backpacking career, has had 0 blisters. So stay tuned. Work it. Work it. Plus it is extremely hot standing on these black rocks. But can we just take a moment to appreciate how insanely dope it is that they built like a multiple mile long trail along this lava flow? This would be such a pain in the ass to try and walk over otherwise. Hello, checking in on day 19. We stayed at Fish Lake Resort yesterday, which is like just a lake that people go to camp and RV, and they have a little restaurant with curly fries and smoothies or milkshakes and all that good stuff. So we camped off site there and got our resupply box, and then we headed back out on the trail first thing this morning. We're traveling through an area that's like, I forget what it is. It's like 1,000 Lakes Wilderness or something, but the trail, the PCT actually hits 0 of those lakes. So as you can see, we are at a lake. We decided to pull our mileage back a little bit so that we're still going to take only 3 days for this section, which is what we were planning. But instead of like doing 2 big days and then a short day on the tail end coming into Crater Lake, we're just going to do like 16-mile days, but that's actually going to end up being more like 18-mile days, because we're going to take some time to actually cruise off like a half a mile or mile to some of these like really nice lakes in the area. It was a really hot climb when we hit this junction and we came down to this lake and just like have this amazing breeze, and there's 0 people here. So feeling super grateful for some clean, tasty water and a little bit of respite at this lovely lake that I believe is called Squaw Lake. Right? Squaw Lake? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cold, clean mountain springs might be the best thing ever on a hot day. We stopped by Christie Spring today on our way to Island Lake, and the water was refrigerator cold and it tasted amazing. Hello from, I think, day 20. I'm going to keep it super short because it's hot as fuck out here. Excuse me, it is very warm out here. We got a view of Mount McLaughlin in the background.
Mount McLaughlin.
Start of the day was very, very mosquito-y. I think I had a swarm of like 50 mosquitoes following me for the first 4 or 5 miles. 25. So we're very grateful to be higher up. Out of the mosquitoes. I think we might be going back down into some soon, but a little bit of respite is nice. We're headed to about 16 miles shy of Crater Lake today. We got a little hike off trail for a spring, and then we're gonna push on to Crater Lake tomorrow. That tiny little fleck of bark on Mark's shoulder is actually a friggin' super cool butterfly buddy. Yeah.
He's been there a long time.
There are moments when you're doing the Pacific Crest Trail where you're just like, why the fuck am I doing all of this climbing? And then you get to these awesome places where the trail just provides you with incredible views. You get to see where you came from, where you're going. So you see that snow-tipped mountain in the background. That's where we started yesterday. Made our way all the way up this cool ridge here today. This is Devil's Peak in the background. We're headed down into this valley. Today, and then all the way towards Crater Lake, which is right over there, about 22 miles, which is where we're headed tomorrow. Also, somebody set up this super nice spot to chillax up at the top of this peak with built-in seats and a shady little nook. Want to come up? Little frog! Hi, buddy. Thus far, my experience with springs has been a trickling, albeit very nice, little stream of water coming out of the top of a mountain somewhere. But if you see that rolling boil right there, that is a spring feeding this creek. I am so glad we came down here. The Park Service really wants us to know that we're now entering Crater Lake National Park. We made great time into Crater Lake Manzama Village, about 16 and a half miles before 1:30. It was a dry day, so we ended up carrying water and running out just as we hit the road, but only a 5-minute wait to get a hitch. There were a tremendous number of hikers at the hike bike campground, basically some spots off in the trees. It was nice to hang out for the afternoon, but we quickly decided not to zero there. Hello.
It's not going to drive me crazy. You know what drives me crazy? Is starting a book chapter and then not finishing it.
We didn't start a book chapter.
Starting a podcast. And now I feel like I've used up all my audio time. There's still the book.
I'm going to turn this off and start it over.
There's still I'll push you down this mountain.
Right? Waterfall Lake? Yeah. How are you doing over there, Mark? Ooh.
We're doing okay. It's pretty hit or miss. Very touch and go.
Mark's not sure if he wants to hike anymore. Hello. Oh, God damn it.